ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਓ ਸਭ ਮਾਈ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰਦੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਗੁਰਫਤਿਹ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਅਸੀਸਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੇਣ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਜੀ। So Guru Roop, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, last week we heard part of the 38th Hukam. Padani sir munne nu kanaiaa nahi daevni, us ghar daevni jithae Akal Purukh di Sikhi hovae. So Gurmukh, in the last part last week, what we heard was what Padani means, about a person who cuts their hair, and how in Gurmat, regardless of whatever we may have been taught or how we may personally twist or try to justify things, that the keeping of case has not been permitted anywhere, absolutely at all, regardless of whatever anyone's thinking is. And then how case, the importance of case has been from Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. Some people have this misunderstanding that case was enforced or made hukam by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. Now we heard from Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. Tell Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, under the Shatar Shaya of Dhan Sat Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, our ardas is Sikhi Kesa Swasa Naal Nibahi. So the word case comes before the word swas, meaning that swas vi bearth hai je case hi hai nahi. So we heard that. Now the rest of the hukam, what Das would like to pay attention to is so Padani sir munne nu kanaiaa nahi daevni. We've kind of covered the Padani part. Us ghar daevni jithae Akal Purukh di Sikhi hovae. So Das wants to focus his attention, and also let's say what Akal Purukh di Sikhi is. What does Maharaj say is we jithae Akal Purukh di Sikhi hovae, othe daevni, and why, and also kanaiaa kyon othe daevni hai. So Gurmukh, when we come Guru Ghar and we sit in Guru Sangat here, we listen to Maharaj's Upadesh, Gurbani, Kirtan, Katha, we get a glimpse of what Sikhi is. But sometimes we can delve a little deeper, and the more deeper you go, the end destination you get to, and the end destination we get to on our spiritual journey, is encapsulated by Bhakt Kabir Ji. Bhakt Kabir Ji says, Kabir jako khojte, payo soi thor, soi phirke tu pe aa, jako kehta aur. Bhakt Kabir Sahib Ji Maharaj says, Kabir jako khojte. Kabir Bhakt Maharaj says, the one that I was looking for, searching for. Kabir jako khojte, payo soi thor. I have found him right here. Soi phirke tum pe aa, jako kehta aur. I have turned into, I have become the one that I was searching for, the one that I was calling another. Meaning, Bhakt Kabir Sahib Ji Maharaj, that they're showing where this spiritual journey, this seeking, this searching ends up. It ends up, now this sounds odd, that we are the very Vaheguru that we are searching for. But that's the ultimate truth. Maharaj Satguruji's Bani starts off with ek. And if there's ek, then we can't create that, we may, we hai, that makes it two. So Maharaj's Upadesh, their Gurbani, their final message, Bhakt Kabir Ji says that the one that I was searching for, Kabir jako khojte. Where was Kabir searching for him? As long as Kabir searched for this supreme universal energy outside, he never found it. Payo soi thor, he said, I found him right here, within the very center of me. Soi phirke tum pe aa, jako kehta aur. He said, eventually I turned into tum pe aa, the one that I was calling tum. There's man, there's tum. Kabir said there's no man, there's just tum. Jako kehta aur, he said, the one that I used to call the other with tum Vaheguru. He said, tum hi hai, main hai nahi. This Gurmukh is the end journey of Gur Sikhi. This is the aim of Akal Purukh Vaheguru Ji Sikhi. This is the rista between Guru and Sikh. Guru Maharaj is gonna transform this pulya hoya jeev into his Atmic Swaroop, the true Swaroop, our true Swaroop that we haven't seen. And the doer of that is Satguru Sahib Ji Maharaj. That's the relationship of Satguru and Gursikh. Now, the avastha we've heard here, that Bhakt Kabir Ji mentions, is a very high state, is a very high avastha. But it's not impossible to reach. It's not something that we cannot achieve. The avastha that Bhakt Kabir Sahib Ji Maharaj speaks about is avastha in known something as the 7th stage, the 7th poom called Brahm Gyan, of which the very first stage is where we are all sitting here. We are all at the very first stage of sub ichha, of having the correct intention. What's the intention? We meri atma paramatma na mel ho jaye, minu guru mil paye, minu rab na mel ho paye, whichever way you want to put it. We are all ready, each and every single one of you sitting here is at that very first stage. If we look at Guru Itihas, from Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj to Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, after that under Satguru Granth Sahib Ji's guidance, there are countless Sikhs that have reached that avastha. And even though we may not be at it yet, that is the avastha that Satguruji will take us to, that when we commit ourselves to get into that avastha. Now, Bhai Balaji, Baba Buddha Ji, during Guru Amarjeet Singh Jee's Maharaj's time, Bhai Paro Ji, when we hear the names of all these Gursikhs, they were all Paramhans avastha, meaning that there's no difference between them and Guru Sahib Ji. They're Baro lag, they're different. From the outside they look different, but Guru Maharaj speaks from their own mouth and say that you and me we have become one. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj explains this. Gur Kirpa Jeh Narko Kini. Gur Kirpa Jeh Narko Kini Teh Jugt Pachani. Nanak Leen Pyo Gobind Syo. Jo Pani Sang Pani. Maharaj says when we commit to Guru Sikhi and we live by Guruji's teaching, Gur Kirpa, then Guru di Kirpa hundiya. Jeh Narko Kini, to that person upon Guru's Kirpa is Teh Jukt Pachani. That individual comes to know this way. What is that way? That way is Nanak Leen Pyo Gobind Syo. Jo Pani Sang Pani. Just as if we got water in a wooden cup and a metal cup, and you spill them both into a bowl, no one can differentiate which water came from the wooden one and which one came from the metal one. No one can tell them apart. Just like that, the Gur Sikh joins in with Guru, merges with Guru. Now, when we hear this, how do they get to that? Gurmukh, they live through a process. And that process, Gurmukh, is listening to Guru Sahib Ji's Hukam. Hukam manaya hovae parwan ta khasme ka mahal paisi. This whole Katha for the last year or so has been about 52 Hukam. Today we're on the second part of the 38th Hukam. Whichever other way we may think we may achieve this, until we do not come into Hukam, Hukam manaya, by abiding by Guru Sahib Ji's Hukam. Hukam manaya hovae parwan, that being is accepted. Hukam manaya hovae parwan ta khasme ka mahal paisi, then that individual goes to achieve the avastha where they go to reside whilst in this body, in the mansion of the husband Lord. Now each and every single one of us, like we heard, we are on that process. Some are new, some are further along than others, but regardless of whatever, everyone is on that process. Even though we may not have achieved the high avastha of those Mahatmas that we heard, or even what Bhai Kabir Ji, Dhan Sat Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj teaches us. But nonetheless, if we carry on that route, our relationship stays with Guru, and Guru Maharaj gets us to that level. Now, that's Akal Purukh ki Sikhi, to reach that end of avastha. Now Maharaj says, Os ghar nahi daevni, jithae padni sir munne nu kanaiaa nahi daevni, us ghar daevni jithae Akal Purukh di Sikhi hovae. Now we've heard about the case last week. We've heard very briefly, in the briefest possible way, of Akal Purukh ji Sikhi. Now kanaiaa kyon nahi uthe daevni? Gurmukh, this hukam is for Sikhs. Even though times haven't changed, people have changed basically. It's still the same moon, same sun, same ocean, same forest, same air. Everything's the same, it's the same planet. It's man and his thinking that has changed. Even though Guru Sahib Ji made this hukam at a time when all Gur Sikhs, regardless, even the Brahmins of that time and the Muslims of that time, were all kesatari. That's when this hukam was made, but that does not mean that just because our practice may have changed, this hukam isn't relevant now. No, it is relevant, and I'll tell you why it's relevant. If there's a mother and father and a son and a daughter, all living in Guru Sahib Ji's Gurmat and Sikhi, and now comes the time to wed the girl off, we cannot abandon our daughter. We cannot take it out of an environment where she is spiritually progressing according to Guru Sahib Ji's Sikhi, and then place her in an environment where that is it either stops or it becomes impeded and slows down, and the progression, whatever she was making up until that point, goes. Our Kuriyan, very sadly, in the land that's called India, has probably got the highest rate of infanticide, female infanticide. And there's this very blind view that Kuriyan are a burden. We have to raise them, marry them off. People even kill them at birth. When they find out through scanning that there's a girl in the mother's womb, they abort the baby. And there's countless videos on Facebook, on wherever else there is on social media, where you can see these poor little girls being found. Some born, some unborn. That is a cultural evil. It has nothing whatsoever to do with Gurmat and Sikhi. In Gurmat and Sikhi, females, they are the wealth of the family. And I don't mean pound notes. They are the wealth of a family. When a mother gives birth to a child, she's continuing the bloodline of that family. A woman that's getting married and going into a house, who's had a very good upbringing herself, now she's married into a setting where that can carry on a Gurmat way. She will then produce children and brought up within the parameters of Gurmat, will bring up beautiful, excellent kids. There's not only the continuation of the family bloodline, there's the continuation of the discipline that they live within. You know, when women get married, well, and men, but when the woman comes home, you get the mother-in-law with the ghar, and she's doing whatever she does around the head. The reason why all that began, Guru Ki Sangat here, is, I'm going to mention a word, and please nobody jump out their skin, or even on social media. The old saying used to be, Sade kare Lakshmi aa rahi hai. This isn't Brahmanvad. They used to say, Sade kare Lakshmi aa rahi. Lakshmi is the wife of God. She was the one that was chasing Guru Nanak Dev Ji around to Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji Maharaj to get admittance into the Guru Ghar. Lakshmi is Maya, is the power of God. Lakshmi is knowledge. Even though Saraswati is knowledge, but here she'll mean everything. When a daughter-in-law came into the house, she was that wealth that you cannot buy anywhere else. Where your son is going to continue the bloodline through her. He can't continue it on his own, can he? So she is the wealth. When she brings up those children, and it is mothers who bring up children. Fathers, yeah, they do their part, but ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਾਂ ਆ, ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਤ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਗਿਆ. ਮਤ is knowledge and upbringing. ਮਾਂ ਹੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਤ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੀ ਆ. That ਮਾਂ can turn children into bhagats. Baba Farid Sahib Ji Maharaj. That ਮਾਂ can turn children, Gurmukha, into warriors. Baba Deep Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. That मां can turn their children into kings. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's mother, and not a lot of people know this, the family she was born into, what they used to do, they used to kill a daughter every time it was born because they were so poor. They used to kill the daughter every time a daughter was born because they were so poor. And it is when some Rab Rangi Ruh, some Paramatma de naal judi hoi Ruh, said to them, stop this. When they had another daughter, what they did, they stopped it. They didn't kill the child. They went and buried the child alive in a ghar. Being very clever, chutraiya, like people use these days. They said that Asid nahi mari, Kudrat ne marti. That Sadhu Mahatma found out what they've done. He went to their house and he said to them, he goes, Papiyo ki kare ho you? The greedy that you're so tired of, the greedy that, because of that greedy you've committed so much murder. He said that greedy is going to go away, this history, this child, this female that's born into your house. This, ਇਹਦੇ ਜੋ ਮਸਤਕ ਤੇ ਧਨ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਨਾ, the wealth that's written on her mastak, she will give birth to a son who will go on to be a king. And that was Maharaja Ranjit Singh's mother. Men do not really have tan written into their lives. It's the bibiyan who have tan. If we said Bill Gates was one of the richest man on the planet, or whoever is now, who was he born to? He was born to a mother. Who's he married to? He's married to a woman. That's where the tongue comes in. So when they used to say Sade Kare Lakshmi aa rahi hai na, it was true. The wealth of the world was coming to the house, but Gurmukhi ek gal hai. Lakshmi bhi taa hai, the wealth of the world bhi taa hai je pati parmeshwar hoਵੇ. Je pati pehlo bhoot hai, to fir ghare bhi balai honi hai. There's not going to be any good days there. So Guru Maharaj says, where Guru Maharaj instructs us at every single point to live within Gurmatanavan Ucha Sucha Jivan. Not a jivan of hypocrisy, a Ucha Sucha Jivan. Then when the time for our daughter comes, regardless of whatever anyone says, whether it's societal pressure, whether it's family saying, hey, munda changa, vyado, or whatever other reasons, we cannot abandon our daughters into a family where the spiritual life comes to an end. This is Guru Maharaj's reason to say, we nahi uthe daeni jithae Akal Purukh di Sikhi nahi ki. Jithae Akal Purukh Sahib ji di Sikhi hai, uthe aadiyan tiyan deniyan. Now, just briefly, even though that has kind of caught up the whole hukam, this whole, since we got 10-15 minutes, the first earliest records of case removal, leaving the lands of India to one side because we live in the Western world here, are found to happen in a place called Sodom. And if you've read the Bible, you'll know what Sodom and Gomorrah was famous for. First of all, it was famous for immoral sexual acts, and then it was famous for being burnt to the ground by Akal Purukh. Now it's said that the men there started moving their beards and their hair to look more like women. Those are the first, say, references that researchers found. And now it's become a fashion. It's a sad state of affairs, but it has. When we see the world do something, we tend to blindly follow it without even intelligently thinking about it, about what we're going to do. We don't scrutinize what we're going to do. We don't give it the level and the depth of thought it takes. What we do is look, everyone's, it's a fashion here to cut beards. About 2 years ago, some bloke in America, he created beard oil. And when he created beard oil, what he done, he kept a big massive beard. He spent whatever he wanted to spend on advertising and whatnot. And everyone started keeping beard. Even those people that said, oh, I don't keep a beard because I can't get a job. They still got the job, but they've got a beard now, but no Buddha. Well, when they got a Buddha, they got no case. So my point is, whatever we see as fashion, we start to follow it without giving it the forethought that's needed. And moving on from Sodom, in World War II, now, especially in France, all over Europe actually, even here, in World War II, those people that say committed treason against their own countries and collaborated with the Nazis, once World War II was over, they were dragged into the streets and they were given a fate. They called it a fate worse than death. They were dragged into the streets and their hair was shorn in public. They were made ganje. Now we pay people to make us ganje. Now we willingly marry off daughters into families, even though the structures change. There's things called love marriage these days. Very good, as long as you can live a good, happy life. But this is about Gur Sikhi. This hukam is to Gur Sikhs who live by Guru's hukam. Maharaj kehndे di kanaiaa uthe na diyo jithe bemukta di nishani pehli hove, which is kesan remove karna. So in World War II, like we've heard, they were dragged out into the streets, those people that collaborated with the Nazis, and their case was cut as a punishment, which was considered it was a dishonoring basically. If I go to the land of India, you've all probably, well, the people of my age have probably watched something called Mahabharata. Yeah, it was a big, massive battle where Krishan Ji and the Pandavas were on one side and the Kauravas were on the other side. So before this battle took place, on the Raj was Yudhishthir. He was the eldest of the 5 brothers. he was the king. Before him was 4 people. And these 4 people had all collaborated in murdering someone. One was a Brahmin, one was a Shudra, one was a Vais, and the other one was a Khatri. When they were brought before Yudhishthira for this murder, what Yudhishthira done, the Shudra, he said, you are none the wiser. You will spend a certain amount in prison and you will be gone. The Vais, he said, you are still a man of certain degree of education. You'll spend a longer time in prison and then you'll be released. The Khatri, he told the Khatri, goes, you're a warrior, your job is to protect, not commit murder. You'll spend the longest time in prison. And the Brahmin that was there, now Yudhishthira did not want to spill the blood of a Brahmin. And what he sentenced him to, and this is the land we're from, this is not Brahmanvad. No. When we learn about other religions, Guru Maharaj says, Ved Kateb Kahiye Mat Jhuthe. Jhutha jo na vichare. To understand, to learn from other religions is not wrong. To call them wrong is wrong. To enrich our own life and our own knowledge is not wrong. Jira dushman hunda na, Maharaj Kirpa Khan, please don't anybody misunderstand that. I'm not calling anyone a dushman. Kehte jira dushman hunda, jida changa gun bhi hove na, grant kar do theki. Jira mittar hove na, a friend, even if he's got, jina marji changa thada mittar hai, whatever bad traits he's got, abandon them. So Yudhishthira at that time had this Brahmin brought before him, and the Brahmin, obviously guilty of murder with the other 3. Yudhishthira said, "Tenu jehdi saza sunoni hai na, because you was the most learned of them all. The saza we're going to give you is that you shall have your head and your face clean shaved." Now you think he got away with murder. What he did then, he did benti to Yudhishthira. He goes, Maharaj, accept my plea. Don't dishonor me in this way. Put me to death instead. And his plea was heard, accepted, and he was put to death. Here is someone who did not want his case removed but chose death. And I don't know how to put this, but where have we gone wrong? Where have we got lost? I was clean shaven. And tade sari sangat, please, मैं हाथ जोड़ के चरण बेनती करता हूँ, please do not think anyone here that this is targeting anyone. Like Da said, we are all on a journey, and what we do when we're, say, stuck or not making the progress that we could make, we got 2 choices. Either we can go off against it on an offensive, or we can do what is the best thing we can ever do. We can ask Maharaj for the strength to progress on that journey. We can ask Maharaj for the strength to have, in a spiritual respect, what we don't have today. And I say this with dawa. Dawa means I say this with absolute certainty. Even though Sikh should never be certain. I say this with full maan on my Satguru. Full maan. And I'm a witness to this. When we are lacking or we are stuck on our spiritual path, if we come here with the intention, the true intention to progress, and we do benti in front of Maharaj, Gurmukh, I put my life on this. And I'm saying this in Guru ki Sangat, and Maharaj Tabia Baithai gal keh rahe hain, Guru Maharaj baah phad ke, they get us to go forward. That is the relationship of Guru and Sikh, to progress that individual who has come and sat in the Sangat to the stage where they become one. Just before we sign off for today, the most common, when we have discussions like this, because this is not the only place that we speak about this, Maharaj Sadguru Di Kirpa, people approach us, people sometimes even message you through social media. So sometimes when we're sitting with people, people bring up these topics, and the most common misunderstanding people have, they say, well, no, udo time sega, hon time nega. Gurmukh Satguru Ji is pura, what they do is pura, and I'm going to read out to you a very small conversation that took place between a Brahmin called No Nid Pandari. Once Maharaj created the Khalsa, rather than coming to the Sharan of Satguruji, some Brahmins thought it was good to challenge Guruji, but all of them left having lost whatever debate they came to have. And he comes to Maharaj and he says, Pratham kes tari sab koi, ab to sama raho nahi soi. He said, Maharaj, Pailon Sige, in the first early ages, Pratham means first, in the beginning, Kestari Sab Koi, he said, everyone was Kesatari. Ab Tau Sama, Raho Nahe Soi. He said, but that time has gone. It's a different time now. He thinks he can challenge Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Tan Guru Maharaj Sahib Ji Maharaj, Bhai Santokh Singh Ji Kavi, that Uch Koti da Sadhu Mahatma writes, Siri Gur Panyo, Sama Kya Kaha, So Rab So Sas So Jal Ahe, Bayu Banni Basta Oi, Dosh Samay Ko Kya Kaha. Maharaj Maharaj Satguruji says, why are you even mentioning the word time? Do you have an understanding what time is? We have created seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months for our own existence. We truly don't understand time. Maharaj says, do you even understand time? Why do you even say time? So Rab. Maharaj says, you know about in the ages that have passed? So Rab, Maharaj says the same sun. So Sas is the same moon. So Jal is the same oceans. Bayu is the same air and wind. Banni, the same forest, Basta, Oi, all flowers, all the greenery, everything is the same. Dosh Samay Ko Kya Kaha? Maharaj, why are you blaming time? Then Guru Patsha Maharaj Ji Farmaunde, they speak, there's only 2 panktiyan left. Apan aap ko dosh likhija. Maharaj says, see the fault in yourself. Don't blame time. See the fault in yourself. Apan aapko dosh कीजिए, रखे जाए ना साच कीजिए. Maharaj कहते पढ़ता Brahmana, Navnid, Pandari. Why are you blaming time? Why don't you? Maharaj कहते साच कीजिए. Maharaj says, speak the truth. ते तो आप नहीं रखे जाते. केस रखन की समर्थ हीने. Maharaj कहते you're powerless. You become a slave to your own desire. You are powerless. If you had power, you'd have your desire in control. Kes rakhan ki samarth hine, dosh samu par kalpan kine. Most of the weakness is in you, but yet you're blaming time. So times haven't changed. It's our misunderstanding that's changed our minds. And Guru ki Sangat Ji, Benti was done right at the beginning last week. This brings us to the end of today's Katha da Diwan. Das wants to do one Benti, because I sometimes see people when they hear something that doesn't fit within their understanding, they start to look for reasons and ways to challenge it. Challenge that. No Maida Lal on this planet has ever challenged Guru Sahib Ji's bachan and won. His Navnid Pandari, he kept Gyat Gyan of all the Ved Shastras. That's why they called him Pandari. Pandari means treasure, the keeper of a treasure. How can us who have no knowledge challenge Guruji? Rather than us feeling offended or feeling, I don't know what other word to use, begrudged against or whatever, and then challenging Guru Sahib Ji, that feeling should be transformed into falling on Maharaj's charan. When Das said I used to be clean shaven, whether I'm wired wrong or not, I knew full well that there is no progress in my life if I want to be a Sikh until I don't keep case. The day we got married is the day I asked Maharaj, and it sounds odd, my wife's Masi, Mamiya, the whole lot were bringing presents for my wife on the day of our marriage. We had 11 people go, 11 families from our side go, because we didn't want any party, didn't want anything. All we wanted to do was go Gurdwara, Lava leke, Guru said di khushi leke come home. And that day I remember sitting before Maharaj, and minute odo bhi bolan di akal hai nahi sigi, maybe I haven't still got it. But I remember saying to Guru Padshah, Maharaj, look, they're all bringing presents for my wife. And no one bought me a present that day. Not that I wanted a present, but no one bought me a single present that day. And I said, Maharaj, if I want a present, I want a present from you. And the present I want is the strength to keep my case. Because I never had the strength. I didn't make any qualms about it. I didn't make any excuses. I was very open. It's not me being a coward. I'm saying I didn't have the strength. I was a product of my environment and my time at that time. And when I did ardas in front of Guru Maharaj, and I'm not sharing this with you for my swear, no, not at all. Gurmukh, where we do vandike shakana with food, we must vandike shak our experiences to enrich each other. So that day I did ardas. Exactly 7 days later, Maharaj, I don't know what happened, and it happened like this. Andron, I had this itcha all of a sudden to keep my case. My wife is sitting here. So I said to my wife, I said, Gurdeep, you married a clean shaven guy, but I've changed my mind, I'm going to keep my case now. And Tan Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, I can never ever stress this enough. I haven't got the words to say it. But Maharaj ne us aisi kirpa kiti that even my wife kept her case. My family, Guru's family, they've all kept their case, and there's nothing, absolute zero that I can say that Maharaj has not given me. Maharaj has given me that wealth that cannot be bought in shops. So Gurmukh, we must encourage ourselves and each other to become a part of Guru Maharaj's jihad, a part of their way. So Gurmukh, haath jod ke benti, so sorry we went 10 minutes over. And so next week, I believe, is by Jagmohan Singh Ji's wari on the 39th Hukam. And kirpa karyo, sees te haath rakhyo, jo bhi bhulna chukka, दास तो हो गई कथा कर दें अपना ही जान के मुआफ करना. Thanks to you, thanks most of all to Tan Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and Gurmukh. So see you next week. Until then, aao Gurfatah Sanj paiye and take away Maharaj's blessings and asisa. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.